Hello and welcome. Today we are in the Tier 10 US light cruiser, the Worcester. These are the captain skills and upgrades that I used on the ship. I don't take the range upgrade because I expect a lot of close range fighting, and I do take IFHE. So we're playing on the map Shatter, and it is a tier 9 to 10 battle. As a light cruiser that's fairly squishy and relatively short ranged but has a radar, I try to be rather safe early on. So right now, of course, I'm firing in open water and all that, but the plan isn't to rush in or take any kind of crazy position. I am gonna try to park myself behind an island and then wait. First of all, to see what the enemy is doing. If they start advancing on me, absolutely perfect. If they don't advance on my position, then that's fine too. I will simply have to see what my allies are doing. I also use a lot of holding down the left mouse button instead of double tapping, because the Worcester has a fairly short reload and you constantly want to be firing. American light cruisers have a bit of a problem with their radar range. Their radar is 9 kilometers compared to the heavy cruisers' 10 kilometers. But even 10 kilometers feels a little short compared to the Soviets' 12 kilometer radar. Of course it lasts longer, but still. It's a lot more difficult to get to use these against destroyers than the Soviet ones, and because of that I think Worcester isn't really in favor. The ship itself is alright. I find it extremely difficult to sink a Worcester. Somehow they simply just refuse to take citadel hits. I don't know why that is, but whenever Worcesters are around, they just don't get blapped like basically other cruisers do. But sadly that is reliant on RNG, and you can't plan your gameplay around not getting blapped. And because of that, you have to play safely. And even if that means you can't use your radar, it's fine, you'll just use it later if the game ends up collapsing to a shorter range. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. There is really no need to try to YOLO radar. Here we're just content with shelling the Des Moines. I mean, she has a good 3 kilometers to go before she gets out of my gun range. And while we might not be doing much damage with individual salvos, I mean, this damage just adds up. Especially when she gets hit like that. She had almost full HP when she showed up and we started firing. Okay, that destroyer is still in smoke. And sadly, the Worcester is kind of helpless against a destroyer in this position. Also goodbye Des Moines. It's not really the daring that makes you helpless, it's the Vermont behind the daring. That's the issue. Because if you try to advance on the daring's position to radar them, the Vermont ends up shooting you. And if the Vermont gets lucky, it ends your game. So it's much safer to wait for the daring to come to you. But obviously, if the daring plays well, she knows that she shouldn't approach your ship. That your ship is basically a 9 kilometer no sail zone. Not much is going on this side of the map though. I mean, we took out the Des Moines, but everything else is gonna be at extreme range now. The daring is definitely gonna stay away, or at least she has so far. The Vermont is clearly sailing away. Aerroon and Drake are also, well, the Drake isn't in range yet, but she might be soon. Meanwhile, a Kremlin came here, and the Jean is still positioned in a way to push towards the daring, and I don't understand why. We have the cap zone, we're taking the B cap, why are we fighting over here? Maybe I should just leave, because sure, it's good to cover your battleships, but at the same time, if your battleships aren't doing much useful stuff, maybe it is better to go away. I tried to tell Kremlin and Jean that they don't need to be here. If both of those battleships left, I bet the enemies would push. But since they're both here, I think I might want to leave instead. Let's not get tangled up with the JB here. Even she slowed down a little bit. Well, Drake is technically in range, so I guess we can continue shelling from behind the island. Oh, or I guess we can switch to the Vermont. Especially because she's reversing, which means that we're gonna get in a fair few salvos before she accelerates away. I am using the stoplights mod. That is the blinking light on top of the ship, but honestly, it doesn't work very smoothly. Right now she's stationary, but actually she's already moving forward before the stoplight ever goes green, so I don't really rely on it, and in the next patch when I am reinstalling mods again, I'm probably not gonna pick that one. Because the reliability of it is basically the same as me just eyeballing it. Okay, the JB decided to push, even though I have said not to do that. I am not gonna be suicidal with him though. And with the JB pushing, it means the enemies are gonna back off even further, so I'm even less likely to be able to shoot something. So I'm just gonna go to the other side of the map. Maybe we'll find something interesting to do over there. Really, the JB should have gone to the other side of the map herself. Like, go fight that Des Moines, or the Missouri that's behind her, or the Östergötland, or the Slava, or the Colbert. There's lots and lots of ships to fight over there, but she decided to push into the destroyer. I don't expect much from the salvos on the Des Moines. The Des Moines is a little too slippery. But I mean, everybody's afraid of the Rainbow of Doom, right? I mean, it's only 726 damage, but 726 damage like 7 times is actually quite a lot. Okay, I just got hit by something. Probably a battleship. That's not very good. But I mean, we're still more than half HP, so we're gonna just keep going. Oh, we have lost 5 ships, they've lost 2. Surprisingly, the JB is still alive. Oh, and there's a Musashi with the JB. Yeah, we really would have needed the help of a battleship over here. But no, they needed to push into a Daring and a Vermont for some reason. Musashi is still burning, so there's that. But vision would be extremely nice. I am dismayed in chat about why my team is so focused on pushing the right flank. I mean, we have the cap zone. I don't understand why we need to push further, especially because we know they have a destroyer there. Although for some reason the Daring is engaging in a gunfight with a Jambard at basically melee range. At least that's what the minimap says. And the Daring actually lost. It really shouldn't have been surprising to the Daring that there was a battleship there. Oh well, I mean, good things happen sometimes. Now we've lost... Now it's a 6 versus 9, so I suppose the odds just became a little better. I also suspect the Musashi and the JB are able to take care of the Vermont. But over here, we're just waiting. And playing light cruisers, in my experience, is a lot of patience. You just can't go YOLO out there on your own immediately, because sometimes you just need to sit back and wait a little. To wait for the right opportunity to strike. Because in a 1 versus 1, you're probably gonna lose against the battleship. But if you can engage them when they're busy with someone else, then you can be absolutely devastating against them. Let's wait a little more, and I think... I wanted to say I think we can go now, but... Well... I would put an island between me and the... Oh, never mind. I wanted to say I would put an island between me and the Des Moines, but I suppose that was taken care of by the Kremlin. And I guess we can go now, though. Because the only ships defending the cap are the Slava at 28,000 HP and Worcester Jutland with 7k HP. And Slava has a 25mm bow, which means that our HE should deal penetrating damage on it. So if we can survive like 2 salvos from the Slava, we should easily be able to have her. I'm going diagonally, and when she fires on me, I'm gonna start turning in. He's already down 8k HP. Okay, that went well. No citadel hits. She is down almost 20,000 HP now. Will she even get to fire again? I don't think so. I can't bring all guns to bear, otherwise I run aground. Oh, Hindenburg finished her off. She did get to fire again, but she hit my main belt, and since I was angled, I guess she only did penetrating damage, but no citadels. So, what's left defending the cap? An Worcester Jutland with 7,000 HP. I have a Hydro going, and I have a radar available. Okay, so now it's a 4 versus 5. This is the last destroyer in the game. Okay, it's a 3 versus 5 now. I better not screw this up. This time I'm gonna double tap to put out as many shells in as little time as possible, and I'm gonna start heavily turning in after a moment. Like right now already. So that when she fires her torps, I will hopefully be parallel to them and be able to eat only 1 or 2. Perfection! That... I did not expect it to go that well, though. And now we get the cap zone. Excellent. And after that, we're gonna... Oh, never mind. I think we'll first have to deal with the Colbert. But I don't think Colbert should challenge me. She has 18,000 HP. She can actually out-DPM me, but... for some reason she decided to show broadside, so goodbye. But I think even if she just straight up fought me, I would have a heal available soon, and then I could be able to still outfight her. Despite the fact that she out-DPMs me, I think my ballistics are a little better, so I should still be able to hit her at the range she was at. If she were to try to challenge me though, she should have just sailed straight towards me, rather than show any kind of broadside. Now we do get the cap zone, and then we're headed to A, where we will probably have to fight off Aerroon, but it shouldn't be too difficult. Our HE should easily be able to deal with Aerroon. As long as I don't show too much broadside, the Rune should be unable to punish me. Our best chance would be to try to ambush me from behind an island with torpedoes, so that it ends up being a trade, but I think I'm gonna foresee that. But I am gonna go straight for the A-cap now. Let's use a scout radar to find out whether the Rune is behind an island. And she is! But now we know where she is. And we can probably start firing even before she comes around the island. Yep, hello. And you lost, because I severely out-DPM you. She's also showing broadside, so I guess we can fire AP, although that was kind of unnecessary. Oh, 6k, wow. Hydra up to dodge torpedoes.
Enemy cruiser foundered.
Wait, so the last 2 ships are the Hizen and the Drake. Oh, and somebody in chat said Hizen is AFK, and considering he hasn't moved, that's probably true. So I'm instead gonna go after the Hizen rather than the A-cap. I mean, the game's gonna end anyway, right? Yep, Drake lost to the Hindenburg, and Kremlin would have come around to deal with the Drake anyway. And now we're gonna just deal with the Hizen. I'm trying to aim at the bow because the bow is 32mm and I have 30mm base HE penetration. With IFHE that should be 37mm of HE pen. Therefore, I deal penetrating damage on the bow. A bit unfortunate that Hizen was AFK, but I think if Hizen had actually played the game, we would have just lost really hard. Because even with this, we were in a 6 versus 9 at one point. They had 50% more ships left. 164k damage, 4 ships sunk, Confederate, capped the base. 2457 base XP. Kremlin and Hindenburg and that JB deserve a compliment. Especially the JB, because he did something I didn't expect against the Daring. I really didn't expect her push to work out. And here I want to compliment the Daring for actually being passive in return. She didn't try to push into my radar range, and I think that was smart play. And good manners for the Colbert for showing some broadside to me. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.